Good evening, everybody. I'm here today to talk to you about why you should utilize your medical app on your phone. So our agenda for today is I'm going to be telling you someone else's story, coincidentally also named Laura. I'll be telling you why you need the app, how you can download the app, or how you can use the app, and how it will affect you, how it will help you. So first I'll talk to you about Laura's story. I recently met Laura a couple of days ago, actually. I think it was maybe about 2 weeks ago. Laura and her 7-year-old daughter were rushed to the ER after getting into a car accident. They were both knocked unconscious. When Laura hit the wheel, her stomach swelled. It was huge. They actually removed her organ because they thought one of her organs had ruptured, so they took out an organ. When she woke up, she learned that she was missing an organ, and she also learned that her daughter tragically died in this car accident. The saddest part about this is that it could have been prevented. Laura didn't hit the steering wheel. Her organ didn't rupture. Her organ was stolen. Her and her daughter both suffered from a very rare disorder called HAE. It's a blood disorder. So her daughter didn't die from the impact of the car accident. Her daughter died because her throat had swelled and she wasn't able to breathe. So she died from suffocation, not from the impact of the car accident. When the paramedics came, they just saw what they saw. They treated for what they saw. They didn't know what was wrong with these people. This could have been avoided if Laura and her daughter's medical information was easily accessible to the paramedics. In 2008, I had my first HAE attack. After about 14 doctors, several misdiagnoses from lupus to hypochondria, and countless ER visits, I was finally diagnosed with HAE last month. And I actually met Laura and heard her story 2 weeks ago at a support group for people that had our blood disorder. When I got there, I was so excited to finally meet people that had the same disease that I did, and was able to talk to people that experienced the same medical craziness that I did. I was undiagnosed for about 7 years. I was living with this disease and constant fear of what's going to happen to me. When I got there, I thought we would be sharing our stories and everything, but everybody had asked me the same exact question, and that was, where's your medical ID? What are you going to do if you have a throat attack and you can't communicate because your throat was swollen? I didn't have an answer. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have an ID. I didn't have anything. So that's why I think it's very important that everybody has a medical ID. And this is why you need the ID. So we must be our own advocate. If we are unable to speak, unable to communicate, knocked out, for whatever reason, we need to be our own advocate. If nobody else is around and our phones are locked, there's nothing that they can do. They'll treat what they see. They won't treat what you have. A lot of people have ICE contact information in their phone. That's in case of emergency contact information. But how many of you lock your phone? Raise those hands. Yeah, so all of us. So that emergency contact information, that ICE contact in your phone, that becomes hidden and no one can find it. No one can call your relative or your loved one, no one can call your parents and ask what's wrong with you because they can't access that information. ICE contact information alone is not enough. I mean, it's a great thing to have it, everyone should have it, but that alone won't help you in a serious emergency. The medical ID app, particularly for iPhones, can be accessed without unlocking your phone. So in case of an emergency, paramedics can come up and they can find your contact information for a relative. They can know what kind of medications you're on, what kind of conditions you have. They will know all this information without even unlocking your phone. And, excuse me. So, how many of you have gone to a new doctor recently or previously? And you have to fill out a lot of paperwork, right? So what do they want to know when you fill out all this paperwork?
Medical history.
Yeah, medical history. What else do they ask in those big piles of paper? You're a doctor. What do you want to know?
Dr. Bruce.
You can get anything from the patient's history.
Yeah, so you need to know the history. You need to know the history, especially because doctors have to consider complex things. So they have to consider drug-to-drug interactions. They have to consider what the dosage of medication you're on now. They have to consider any type of allergies, latex allergies, food allergies. If they give you anything, they need to know how that's going to act. It's very complex things, and if you're knocked unconscious and you can't communicate for yourself, then no one will know what you have or what you need. You should use the app because information like conditions, allergies, drugs, and case of emergency contact information, that can all easily be viewed. Doctors need to know that what they do for you won't make the situation worse. For my friend Laura and her daughter, it made the situation worse. She was swollen because her blood vessels had swelled, so her stomach was huge. They thought an organ ruptured. When they cut her open, they made it worse because that incision, that trauma from cutting her open, made her swell even more. Her daughter, they were treating for the impact of the crash. They didn't treat her throat, so they made the situation worse. It delayed her care, and ultimately she died from it. So Andrew Wigglesworth is the CEO of Medic Alert. It's a medical ID device company. He said that many situations can be avoided if patients did proactive steps to make sure that their medical information is well documented and easily accessible. And the Wall Street Journal also had an article that said how important it was, whether it's for something that you wear or something that you have on your phone. They particularly stressed for people that have allergies and certain diseases and everything, but I think it's important that everyone has it, even if it's only just having your contact information. If you go missing after Dylan's car accident, if his phone was locked, how would his family be notified? If he has that in his phone, it would make it easier to get his family there, to be with him when he woke up. So now that we've learned the importance of why the app is so great, let's everybody take out your phones, and then I'll show you how to actually use that app. Okay, so does everybody have their phone out? So let's look for this icon over here. It is the Health app. So it has the iPhone. It's for, I think it's iOS 9 is the server. So click on this app, and then it will take you to your medical dashboard. Does everybody see it? So from there, on the bottom right, there is the medical ID tab. So is everybody on that step? Did everyone click the medical ID tab? Okay, great. So the next is create a medical ID. So this is how you can create your medical ID. And once you do create your medical ID, you can feel secure and safe to know that all your medical information can be easily accessed. So you click on the Create Medical ID, and over here, this is where you add in everything. You can even add a picture if you want. So you add in your birthday, you can add in your picture. So for me, I have a picture of myself. So you can see the way I look when I don't have an action. You can put in your medical conditions, so anything that you do have, any type of diseases, medical notes. So I'll show you mine in the next slide, but anything medical notes that you have there. Allergies, this one is particularly important to have your allergies listed. And also medications. And your emergency contact information, you can add that from your contacts. So if you click there, it'll take you to your phone book, and then you can add somebody that way. There's also other types for blood type, or other sections for blood type and organ donor. Okay, so imagine this. You and I, we're going out to dinner to work on a speech together, right? So we're discussing our speech over dinner, and all of a sudden I can't breathe. You don't know what's happening, you call 911, smart move. You're freaking out, you don't know much about me, we're classmates, right? So you don't have my mom's number, you don't know what diseases I have or anything. So you can just take my phone out, it's locked, you don't know my passcode. Let's pretend I don't have the thumbprint thing on it, but you can't access my phone. You swipe to the left, over here, and the emergency contact one, or the emergency section of it, and then click on medical ID. So from there, you're able to see all of my medical information. You can see the type of disease that I have. Meanwhile, the paramedics are on their way. And you can see over here that I have a blood disorder. I have potential throat swelling. So that's your whole entire inside of your throat can swell, and that's how the little girl died, because her throat swelled. You can also see that I don't have any allergies listed, so it wasn't a food allergy. I'm probably not choking. It's not a food allergy. And you can see that I have this throat swelling disease. You can also see the medication that I have and my emergency contact information. So the paramedics get there, they think it's an allergy, so they treat me for that. You're able to tell them that it's not an allergy. I don't have any food allergies. You can tell them that I have this blood disease. And then you were nice enough to call my sister and my best friend to come meet me in the ER. So the importance of having a medical ID is because when we are unable to speak for ourselves, we still need to be our advocate. We need to have that information ready to go. And I personally feel a lot safer now that I just have this diagnosis of this rare blood disorder. People don't know what it is. If I tell you have HAE, you're not going to know what that is. But now that if anything does happen to me, I feel really safe in knowing that my medical information is available. I hope you guys all took a couple of minutes to add in your emergency contact information, your diseases and allergies and everything. So thank you. Does anybody have any questions?